Hey everyone, I'm Alex Berman, and let's talk about how to book a meeting with cold email.
This video is brought to you by Email 10K. Learn how to book meetings with billion-dollar brands and take your company to the next level at email10k.com.
Cold email is a superpower that allows you to meet with and pitch people that normally would not be in your orbit by sending them a well-crafted email. And in today's video, I want to talk about how to do that. This strategy will allow you to generate highly qualified sales calls for your high-ticket B2B SaaS or agency service. Before we jump into it, if you wouldn't mind subscribing for more tips like this when it comes to B2B and lead gen, and smashing that like button. If you see here on this chart, it looks like most of you haven't subscribed yet, so if you want to go ahead and become one of the minority that is subscribed to this channel, we can continue our onslaught. We can continue our growth as we take over cold email YouTube, and it becomes ours, you know, for the Bermanators or the Berm whales. Let me know down below in the comments as well, what should we call this beautiful community of people that we have here? All right, now let's jump in and let's talk about how to book a meeting with cold email. The first thing you should do is focus on the right prospects. Everything that's taught on this channel, in our courses, on the blogs around the internet, on Twitter accounts everywhere, all of those lessons when it comes to writing a perfect email script, coming up with the right subject line, all of those assume that you're selling something people want to people that are going to buy. That's the first step of booking meetings with a cold email campaign. You need to find the right prospects. Who are your ideal prospects? And you need to get as niched down as possible. I don't say it niche, I say niched. You need to get as niched down as possible. So instead of saying, I sell websites, you should say, I sell websites to lawyers in the Chicago area. Or I sell websites to breweries with over 3 locations. You need to get niched down so that you can become a master at finding those prospects and speaking directly to them. The next thing you want to do is personalize your outreach. Now, in past videos, I talked about writing a custom compliment as the first sentence of the email. You can actually watch me write 15 first lines right here. We'll recommend the video. Personalizing can mean 2 things. It can mean writing each email or a portion of every single email from scratch to make it seem like you're talking directly to them. It can also mean writing your email drip or your email sequence in a way that seems personalized. And the best way to do that is to go back to point 1, to get it super niched. So for instance, if I'm writing a cold email campaign to alcohol companies, like I did for a consulting client recently, I am able to have the email read something like this. Hey Mark, I was at a party last night and my friend recommended I check out Alcohol Name. After drinking it and falling in love with the product, I realized I needed to reach out. Now, that sounds like a first line that's written directly for that specific person that's receiving the email. But in fact, that first line can work for thousands of alcohol companies around the world. That's what personalization means. It doesn't necessarily mean writing each email from scratch, but if you don't have the skill to come up with a first line like I just came up with, then you're going to need to write every email from scratch until you can figure out how to do it. And by figure out how to do it, I mean go with the data. Cold email is one of the few skills in the world that has real-time feedback. Meaning, if you're bad at cold email, you'll know because your open rates are going to be low, your response rates are going to be low, the emails aren't going to get the responses that you want. And so now you have data and you can improve, which makes it a great skill. And it also means you can't fake being a cold email expert. Either your emails are going to get meetings or they're not. It also means there is a path forward. Either your emails got meetings and you're good, or they didn't get meetings and can be improved. This makes it one of the most straightforward, high-value skills that you can learn. By the way, as we're going through this, if you want me to coach you on emails, or you want to look at all of our courses, you can check out Email 10K. You can find that at email10k.com. The next thing is offer something of value. What you want to keep in mind is you don't know the people that you're emailing. They have no idea who you are. They have no idea on your backstory. Even if you have an audience in a different space, they don't really know who you are. And I'm assuming for most people, they have no reputation at all. So keep that in mind. They don't owe you a response. They don't owe you an open, and they might even just mark you as spam without even thinking about it. So put stuff in the email that makes them more likely to respond. The way that I do this is we write most of our emails using the 3 C's, which is compliment, case study, call to action. Compliment is the personalization that we talked about before. Then case study proves that you've done work in a similar space or know how to get results. So to go back to the alcohol company example, it would be something like, I help global alcohol brands convert more on Facebook. Just last month, we helped a company in Cincinnati double their conversion rate while decreasing their cost per click. Basically, you're saying work you've done in the past and results that you've generated. And I would keep that as specific as possible. Don't say, we've built dozens of websites for dozens of companies around the world, because that does not have the same impact as saying, I've built one website for this specific person and it got these exact results, which led to this much in revenue. That brings us to the next part of this, which is focus on the pain points. The way that I like to sell is I tend to bring everything back to revenue generated. It doesn't matter if we're selling a new website, or we're selling a branding package, or we're selling SEO, or iOS development, front-end, back-end work, marketing services, whatever. I try to bring it back to how our service is going to make them more money, and more specifically, how our service has already made money for their competitors or for similar companies. The next tip is keep it short. I like to have our cold emails readable on an iPhone screen without scrolling, meaning 3 sentences, 4 sentences, sometimes even 1 or 2 sentences is more than enough for a cold email. You don't need to hit somebody with paragraph after paragraph of text. The next one is have a clear call to action. That means after receiving your email, the person who received it should have a clear idea of what to do next. Typically, it's booking a meeting, but other cold email gurus out there, cold email teachers out there, ask questions of their prospects. So, can you take on 10 new deals a month? Things like that. And the whole point is you want to get a yes or no question. These people are busy. They're already doing you a favor by reading this cold email, and you want to make it as easy for them to respond as possible. With our cold email campaigns, I love to get people on the phone and in meetings with our sales team so that we can close them. And so the call to action that I like to use in our cold email campaigns is, mind if I send over a few times to talk further? That's a yes or no question. They either say yes or no, and that way, you're not sending them 3 times. They're not having to juggle through any of this stuff. You get them to say yes first. Your foot is now in the door, and then you progress from there. The next thing you're going to want to do is send follow-ups. The first cold email might not get a response. Typically, we'll send 3 or 4 cold emails to each recipient in order to make sure that they saw our message. And we hit them from different angles each time. Short emails, long emails, ideas, etc., to push them down and get their response, even if they didn't see value in the original message. If you want to be part of an awesome community and have me helping you out weekly with your emails, with your agency growth, etc., then join Email 10K. You can do that down below at email10k.com. Smash that like button, subscribe down below, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. I'm Alex Berman.